Hello, and welcome to Brit Reviews It All. And today I'm going to be talking about Chucky, the series. For those of you that are into Chucky, this will be season 2 of the series. I forget what it comes on, but just look it up and you'll be able to find it. So it just started this week. Like I said, season 2, this is episode 1. So they called this one Halloween 2. It was so good. I will say that it came out banging. Like, I love how with the Chucky movies, they always incorporate a little bit of funny with a little bit of horror. You get the good mix in there, so it's no different with the series. So immediately they pick up where they left off for the season finale of season 1. Andy, he's driving the car, which Tiffany doll, she's in there, and she's trying to basically take over and make sure that Andy doesn't try to get away. I'm sorry, y'all, I think it's a mosquito in here. Hold on, hopefully I don't miss it. Oh, dang it, I missed it. But anyway, so she's making Andy drive the truck to where it's supposed to go. It's filled with live Chucky dolls that have been gone through orientation, so they all know what to do. They all have their own knives. They're all in their boxes. And when I tell you, it was so funny how all of them that were in the back, it was 3 of them. They were just talking, and it was freaking hilarious. There was also a Chucky doll who was bald-headed, and he somewhere in the scene realized that he was the only one who didn't have a knife. But anyway, Andy, he starts to realize that the Chucky dolls, they don't really know who he is, so they didn't really get all of they don't really have all of the original Chucky's memories, and then because they didn't even realize who Tiffany was and what she did to Chucky as well. So that was all going on, and all of a sudden they got to Andy started to get to tussling with the Tiffany doll, and he was able to get the gun away from her and blow her freaking head off. At that point, the other Chuckies realize who he is, and so all of them break loose out of their boxes. They're climbing on top of the truck, coming to come and get him. And basically he sacrificed himself, Andy did, for the sake of trying to kill off all of the Chucky dolls that he could. So that's where they started us off. Now we move on from there, starting off with Jake and Devin's scene. So Jake is pretty much telling Devin that he's leaving. At that point, I hadn't realized, I had to remember that all of them at this point have lost their parents, except for Lexi. Lexi was the only one who didn't lose both parents. Her mother is still alive, but her dad passed. He was murdered in the first season. Now, Jake, he has foster parents, which also came with him, bringing in a little brother as well. So they switch him off to Salem, and Devin is still in Hackensack, New Jersey, and he is there. He's also been put into with foster parents as well. So the both of them, they say their goodbyes, moving on. Now they go 6 months later. It's Halloween night, and they start off in Salem, where you have Jake. That's where he is, remember. Now they had this creepy little scene with a small little person, which turned out to be a small child in a very interesting clown costume getup, which was it really freaked Jake out, which I totally understand why. It really freaked him out and spooked the crap out of him. Now, while all of this is going on, he gets a call from Devin, and Devin, I almost thought like something was going on because Devin's face, but really, all in all, Jake was supposed to go back to Hackensack for them to spend some time together because they hadn't seen each other in 6 months. Jake never went. Jake at this point has been spending time with the little brother whose name is Gary. Obviously, the parents, they they're like not really around, is the way they kind of made it seem. Same for Devin as well. Now, while this is going on, Jake, he starts to get calls from an unknown number, and they're just asking, you know, just kept asking for something, and he's just like, he didn't know what it was, what they're asking for. And as well, same on the other side in Hackensack, Devin gets a call too, and they're like kind of putting two and two together, like, wait, like something's not right. Now they get a video call of same unknown number. It clicks in the both of them, Jake and Devin, and it shows obviously a Chucky doll going to Lexi's house. Caroline answers the door though, and she's handing out candy. I'm like, oh Lord, here we go. Caroline, please don't fall for this. But she allows the stranger to go into the house because they said they needed to use the bathroom. She let them go into the house and told them where to go. Now, while this is going on, mind you, Lexi's tail is upstairs. She's supposed to be with her sister. She has a boy upstairs in their room. They're making out, getting high, doing everything they're not supposed to do, especially on a night like that. Especially with whatever, you know, with what happened with Chucky in the first season. Honey, you should never leave your sister by herself ever. Like, ever. But anyway, so all of this is going on. Now, at the whole time that this is going on, they're trying to get Lexi's tail on the phone. She's not answering. Like, not answering, none whatsoever. So Devin calls the police and says that there's been a break-in at Lexi's house. And while all this is going on, Lexi, all of a sudden the cops, they burst in the door, and Lexi's there with the boy. And they're just like, yeah, we heard it was the break-in. And Lexi's like, what? Now, mind you, at this point, honey, you have been caught with a boy in your room. They obviously, I think they already did their drugs, so there is no drugs left to be found. And then Caroline says something about the person that she let come into the house, and it was just like a whole thing. You know, it was like, it's like, what do you do? Next thing we know, the both of them, Caroline, Lexi, and her mom, they're in a therapist's office. So, which makes sense. A lot of traumatic things happened, and so it would make sense that she would need to have herself and the children in therapy. Now, let me catch up to where I am, because I took notes on this. This is an hour-long show, by the way, so I took notes on this so I would try not to forget anything. Let me see. What I thought was so creepy was the therapist. So she basically wants to try to help Caroline get over the thing that she has, her fear for the dolls, because they let her know that Caroline wanted all the dolls at the house. She just don't want to see them. She wants to get rid of all dolls. So in comes the wedding bell, is what the therapist said, the wedding bell doll. So they call her Belle, which we all know that this particular doll turns into Tiffany. Okay, for us that have followed and have seen every single Chucky there is. Now, that doll, regardless of it not being possessed at this point, it still looks very creepy. Without all of the extras, still a very creepy looking freaking doll, and I wouldn't have wanted it. Caroline didn't look like she wanted that doll, okay? She really didn't. But she took it anyway, just to make her mom happy, and that's another thing that's going on with their particular story. Now when they got home, Lexi, she goes into the room, and she gets the doll. She starts banging it all on the floor and all, just doing all that. And then before you know it, she's tying the doll into a chair, in a rocking chair. She ties the doll to the chair, talks to her sister Caroline, told her, don't you ever trust a freaking doll ever again in your life, and made her repeat it. Don't ever trust a doll. It has some curse words in there, but I ain't gonna repeat what was said. Now, she also gave her a freaking butcher knife. I mean, at this point, it was just like whatever. Like, I couldn't really say much about it, but Carolina is scared and she's not playing no games. Okay, now Jake, at this point, he's taking his tail back to Hackensack, and he goes to Devin They have their little makeout stash. Then they're like, we need to go get Lexi. They go break in to Lexi's, and then they go look into this doll that Caroline has now. So when they go to the room, the doll is in the bed with Caroline. Apparently Caroline must have did that. And then, yes, the mom did come in, but she didn't catch Jake and Devin there. She didn't catch them, and they actually ended up spending the night there without the mom knowing. But Caroline, she had that doll sleeping right next to her with the knife in hand, because I think she was really just trying to, I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens with Caroline, because there's gonna be some more development things with her. I'm pretty sure of it. Now, I do recall that Devin, he's the guy who does most of the research, and he finds all of the information. So they do remember that the doll that she has is the doll that from the Bride of Chucky. So they did mention the movie Bride of Chucky, which is Tiffany. Now, going on to the next day. Chucky shows up at the door with Gary in tow, and he's holding a bomb. Okay, now that was so random, it threw me off. I was like, wait, what's happening? Like, Chucky is not playing no games. Okay, so he at this point made everybody come into the living room. Mind you, Lexi is still upstairs. She's jittery because she needs her drugs. That's pretty much what was going on with her. And I think Jake and Devin know that she's doing more than just smoking some marijuana. But honey, she's upstairs trying to get high as a kite. So they are like, which was a funny freaking scene with Chucky just like, any minute now. And they're like, yeah, we're just waiting on Lexi. And she's up in the bathroom getting lit. Okay. And when I tell you that by the time, and they were waiting for her for a minute, but by the time she comes down the stairs, this girl is she's so out of it that her vision is so just all over the place. She can't even put two and two together when she come down the stairs, and then everybody just like froze. And it was just like, and then Devin took a chance and he tased the crap out of Chucky, which had him flying across the room. Now when this happened, Gary, which Chucky must have told him what to do, you know, in case of certain things, because at this point Gary thinks he's playing a game with the Chucky doll. He grabs Chucky and the bomb, runs to the kitchen, and he stops when he sees the Belle doll. And when I say all of a sudden out of nowhere, Chucky comes flying over the back of Gary and sets off the bomb. And I was just like, I wasn't expecting that. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck? At the end of it all, they lit into their tale about Gary, because unfortunately Gary did pass away in that situation. Chucky actually blew himself up as well, which had them thinking like, of course they didn't tell the adults what really happened. Who was gonna believe them? But at this point they're like, okay, so if he's willing to just blow himself up, that means all of the dolls did not die off of that van. So there's a bug flying around here, y'all. So that means all of the dolls did not die on that van. Now, what was the conclusion for them? They didn't send them to jail, but they ended up sending them off to like some kind of like a boot camp for teenagers kind of thing, which, here's the kicker, just so happens to be the original children's home where Charles Lee Ray lived. This is going to get really interesting to see how they kind of wrote that into it, and we're gonna see what happens. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, but it looks like it's gonna be a really, really good season. I am so excited that it's finally back. We have been waiting. We have been waiting and waiting. So yes, I think it comes on every Wednesdays, but if you have watched it already, let me know what you thought about the season opening episode, and if you know what you think, how the season is gonna go. Yeah, thank you for watching, and please, of course, like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and hit the notification bell button so that you'll be notified when I post more videos. I can't wait. Halloween season is one of my favorite times of the year. So I plan to bring in some more stuff that I'm going to do that is going to be more thriller, Halloween movie, scary movie related. So with that being said, bye y'all and have a good day.